Well, good morning, yogis. Let's go ahead and get yourself settled onto your cushion in a seated position, nice and upright. Forgot to set my timer. Let's do that. Okay. Now let's get comfortable. So let's go ahead and make sure that when you come to your seated posture, you can move around. Like I always try to wiggle myself front and back on the cushion, wiggle side to side, kind of move weight from one hip to the other. And in this way, you feel rooted and grounded through your pelvic floor, through your sits bones, and whatever part of your legs are connecting with the mat or with the floor. See if you can feel that connection there as you lean forward ever so slightly, allowing your hips to relax. And this can be very uncomfortable, especially if we have tight hips, because our knees are going to be up here and our back is going to be rounded, and it's going to look something like this. And then you're thinking, that doesn't feel good for me. This is why we practice it pretty much every day when we first get onto our mats. It's a way for us to kind of measure along and see our progress. And sometimes our progress is linear in an upward motion, and sometimes it goes up and down like mountains, peaks, and valleys. And sometimes it goes down. So sometimes you're like, oh, I felt great last week, and then today I don't. So part of our practice is coming into that awareness of where we are today at this moment, and to do that without judgment. So let's take another few moments here to connect with breath and to allow the sensations of the body to just rise up. We relax the jaw and the tongue inside the mouth, letting the tip of the tongue kind of press lightly against the back of the upper teeth. And we soften through our shoulders. And we begin to kind of just let go and surrender to whatever rises up, whatever comes up for us this morning. A good practice to get into is setting an intention or a dedication for your practice. Maybe you can dedicate your work today to someone that might need it. Maybe Lori's husband, so that he feels better, that he recovers fully and he gets his sense of taste and smell back. It's always a good thing to have. Although he's probably very easy to cook for, though. Silver linings, Lori, silver linings. So as you soften here through the body, let's start to elongate and deepen the breath. Deep inhale, drawing in and expanding through the chest and the rib cage. Slow exhale, softening and letting go. Start to feel this breath moving almost like a wave. Inhaling, the wave rises. Exhaling, the wave falls. Let's do one more. Inhaling, the wave rises. Exhaling, the wave falls. And gently bringing the chin down towards the chest, relaxing the muscles in the back of the neck. Let's move the head around just ever so slightly. Chin towards left shoulder, chin towards right shoulder. And we'll start to blink the eyes open, allowing the light to enter, taking in the space you're in. Stopping the movement of the head in the center as you soften the shoulders. Just let the head hang here for a breath or two. Keep drawing in through the lower belly and keep lengthening up through the spine. As we inhale, slowly lift the chin, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, draw the arms up, create sense of space and stretch. from your sits bones all the way to your fingertips, really lengthening the body. Try to press the heels and the tops of your feet and your knees down towards the floor. Lengthen as high as you can towards the sky with your fingertips, but pull the shoulder blades down and back into their sockets. Don't bring the shoulders towards the ears. And then exhale, release the arms, bring them down, fingertips to the floor. Inhale, lift the chest, open the heart, gently looking up, creating a little bit of a back bend here. It's not very deep, but you'll feel it. Open up through the shoulder blades, so the shoulder blades pull towards each other, and the chest opens, the shoulders move away from each other. And then exhale, coming back to center. We'll do it one more time. Inhale, arms coming up. Feel that length and stretch. Keep drawing in through the belly, keep extending. This time we're gonna bring the palms together and then draw the elbows towards each other so you can gaze up towards your thumbs. A little bit more active here, a little bit more lengthening here. Keep drawing in through the lower belly. Pull in as you breathe and extend. Exhale, slowly release, hands down by your sides, fingertips on the floor behind you. Move the shoulder blades towards each other. So open up the front of the chest. Lift up through the rib cage. Open your heart, look back or up. So here we're just again creating that sense of openness in the front body, engaging into the muscles of the back. Squeeze through the back muscles. Keep drawing into the lower belly and tilt your tailbone back. So your pubic bone moves down towards the floor. And then exhale, slowly coming back through to center. We'll continue with an easy twist. Right hand, left knee. Left hand comes around. Just take your gaze over your left knee. So don't go into the whole rotation of the neck. Just your gaze over that left knee and see if you can pull into it a little bit deeper, moving that left hip, or not left hip, left rib cage back a little bit as you use your right arm as leverage. And then stay there as you gently move your gaze maybe towards the left, keeping your spine nice and tall, elongated. Try not to lean forward or lean back. And then lastly, now we can take the gaze over that left shoulder. We're working gently into the neck, not going right into any harsh or deep movements with the neck, just working our way through. Keep pulling back with that left shoulder, keep drawing in through the belly. Find your rotation wherever it feels good for you today. And then exhale, slowly coming back through to center. Take a moment, shake it out a little bit, and we'll do the other side. So left hand, right knee or right thigh. Right hand comes behind you. I like to use my fingertips on the floor. Allows me to kind of press up and keep the spine straight. And then just take the gaze over that right knee so that your head or neck are not finding the twist yet, but you're starting it almost entirely in your lower abdomen. So imagine your belly button turning towards the right. Keep the left shoulder relaxed, keep the right arm engaged, and then gently take your gaze to the right. Nothing's really changed with the body, but maybe you find a little bit more movement in the torso. And this movement, it comes in fractions of inches. It's very, very minute. And then lastly, seeing if you can bring the gaze back over that right shoulder. Now going into the deeper version of your twist. Hold here and breathe. That left arm is engaged because you're using it like leverage to pull yourself through. Your right arm is engaged because you're using it as a kickstand to lift your spine up and keep your body straight. The rotation happens from the lower abdomen all the way to the jaw, even up and towards the eyes as you gaze your eyes as far right as possible. And then exhale, slowly coming back through to center. Shake it out a little bit here, shake out the shoulders. Let's go ahead and come to our hands and knees. So first make it onto our hands and knees. Take a moment to arrive onto your mat. Wipe off any crackers you might have on there. My dog likes to use my mat as her personal little snack spot. So we're going to use our fingers, engage into the fingers strong so that you start to feel this in your triceps and in your bicep muscles and in your shoulder girdle. So strong hands. This is our hands and knees plank as we walk the knees back ever so slightly and bring a little bit more weight forward. So we're warming up the wrists, warming up the arms, the shoulder girdle, and the core as well here. Press through the shoulders, lengthen here through the top of the head, gazes down towards the mat. Keep the belly drawn in. If you start to feel like the belly starts to loosen or let go, pull back in, keep engaging there. And then again, strong fingers keeps the weight equally distributed so you're not dumping all of that weight into your wrists. Protract through the shoulders and engage into your triceps. Try to draw your inner elbows in towards each other. So instead of facing forward, pull them in towards each other and engage strong into the shoulders. Let's hold one more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Slowly go ahead, bring your weight back onto the heels, and let's go into our balasana. So for the first one, let's separate our knees, keep the big toes touching, and then lengthen your body forward so the forehead can come to the floor. Our first balasana tends to feel a little bit funky. Perhaps, maybe not for you, but it does for me sometimes. So if it does, a little bit of movement, a little bit of swaying, a little bit of settling in, anything that feels right, go ahead and move into it. Steady your breath. Good, and then slowly inhale, lift the head, roll yourself back to center, come back onto your hands and knees. Okay, so moving into a little bit more strength here than hands and knees on our, then plank on our hands and knees. We're gonna try to straighten one leg back, keep the other knee on the floor. So I want you to think about the balance between left and right center. Make sure that you're engaging into that left leg, so that you're not lifting up through the leg unnecessarily and you're not sinking down through the leg. So you want to keep that leg as straight as you can, press back with that left heel, draw in through belly, and the same as we did before, protract the shoulders, slide a little bit of weight forward so that there's some weight to the fingertips. So this should feel pretty accessible for most of us. You keep pulling in through your belly and keep feeling that engagement in the body. We're creating it here as opposed to having to do it because of the positioning of our bodies. We're using what we have already, the strength we already have, to guide ourselves into a little deeper position, a little deeper asana, a little deeper exercise in a way so that we can create that strength for future ones. So we're really kind of pressing strong. Imagine you want to push the floor away. And then let's go ahead and exhale and then lower that left knee down and do the same thing on the other side. So right leg extends, press the right heel back. Be sure not to hike up the hip or sink it down. Keep the hips level, draw in through navel, protract through shoulders, little bit of weight forward, strong right leg. So we're gonna keep the right leg contracted. This means the quadricep is contracted, so it's almost like you're putting weight on that leg, even though very little weight is on that leg. The vast majority of your weight here is on your left leg. And then again, strong shoulders, strong arms, strong biceps. You can curl those inner elbows in towards each other so that they face each other. Lengthen through the top of your head, gaze is down, belly's in tight. Steady breathing here. This engagement of all these muscles starts to give us a little bit of a peek of what it feels like when we're holding it with both legs straight, which we're about to do in a few moments. Steady breath. Keep belly pulled in, keep core engaged. And exhale, go ahead, bring right knee down, and then go ahead and sit back for your balasana. If you want to give your shoulders and arms a rest, you can let them come back towards your big toes or towards your feet, and then let your forehead come to the floor. If it's still too early to have your balasana with your knees together, feel free to open your knees, and you can still do the same thing. With the knees open, it's a little bit more accessible. You can decide which one you like, which one feels right for you. Steady the breath, relax the shoulders. You can move the fingers and the wrists around, giving your hands a little bit of a break. Make fists and extend the fingers. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and move into our full plank. So back onto our hands and knees. So take the time to settle your hands in that position right below the shoulders, strong fingers, strong arms, biceps, triceps, shoulder girdle, everything engaged, elbows pointed towards each other. Extend one leg out, doesn't matter which one, and then press into that toe, extend the other leg out. Now we're in our plank position. So very important, in your plank position, you don't lift the hips up. We're not trying to be here. Keep your body low, belly drawn in. Tuck the tailbone under ever so slightly so you feel lengthening through your tailbone. Move your weight forward ever so slightly so you feel a little bit of weight into your fingers. Keep protracting through the shoulders, stay with it. If you do need to come out, just bring one knee down and then come back up. So try not to, if you can, try not to come out of it entirely so that you can work on feeling that strength. We're only going to be here for a few more moments. Strong shoulders, strong core, pull it in, hold it in, steady breathing. Smiling always helps me when I'm doing something that's difficult and that my body's like, whoa, I don't know if I can do it. Smiling always helps, so you'll see me always smiling in the very difficult postures that I practice. And then exhale, let's go ahead and bring the knees down and sit back, Balasana. So again, you can decide knees together, knees apart, arms forward or arms back, and forehead to the floor. Steady the breath. One more deep inhale. Slow, gentle exhale. And slowly lift the head. Come forward, back onto our hands and knees. This time we're going to press up into our downward facing dog. So tucking the toes under, protracting the shoulders, strong arms, just like we do in plank. Lift the knees up slightly off the floor. Keep the core engaged. Exhale, press your weight back towards your knees. And then adjust your feet, maybe about hip width apart. Kind of making little movements, separating the feet. Keep the knees soft to begin with. Our first one here is going to have knees bent. So you're going to press through your upper arms or through your arms so your body kind of comes through that window that we create with the arms. Now engage into the biceps, kind of wrap them around your arms. Keep drawing in tightly through your belly. Don't let your belly hang out here. Pull it in and hold it in as you breathe. It is possible, in fact, it is recommended that we breathe with that engagement in the belly. This is our Uddiyana Bandha. This is the bandha that's right underneath the solar plexus. We keep engaging there, connecting there, closing there, locking out that space as we continue to breathe easily. Now we're going to start to pedal out the legs. So bend one knee, straighten one knee. Start to maybe sway into the hips. Keep moving your chest through, opening through your shoulders here. Should feel pretty good. And then if possible, see if you can press both heels to the floor. Make any little adjustments necessary. Sometimes I gotta walk my feet in a little bit. Sometimes I gotta walk them back. So you can decide the distance here between your hands and feet. Should not be too wide nor too narrow. If your distance is too wide, it's gonna be similar to a plank. And if your distance is too narrow, it'll be similar to a forward fold. So you want to skip or split the difference between those two and find the magic spot where the hands and feet are nice and distanced from each other, and also to the space between your two hands and between your two feet. So, or between your two feet should be, equal here to your hips and shoulders. And the belly still drawn in. Here you can start to maybe engage into the pelvic floor. The two sits bones moving towards each other, the pubic bone and the tailbone moving towards each other, creating a little bit of a tense space as the inner body kind of just pulls in and up towards the belly button. Let's hold one more breath. Inhale, strong arms, strong breath here, strong hands. And then inhaling, looking forward. This time we're going to walk or tiptoe our feet up towards the center of your mat. So if you have tight hamstrings, you might not be able to have your hands planted on the floor unless you bend your knees. So just for fun today, we're all going to bend our knees and start with a bent knee situation here. So knees bent, and imagine your rib cage and your thighs are connecting to each other. In fact, don't imagine, see if you can make it happen. Even if you have to bend your knees quite a bit, try to settle yourself down. So if you have any lower back especially issues, you want to make sure that there's no big gap between your legs because that puts strain on the lower back. As soon as you rest your rib cage onto your thighs, that strain seems to go away. So this is not easy. It can be a difficult balance. You might need to move your hands forward or your hands back. You might need to adjust in any variation. You might need to use blocks, hands to the blocks, and then as you let your upper body rest onto your thighs. So from here, once your upper body and your thighs are connected, let the head hang. Let the arms hang. Let's hold on to the opposite elbows. Allow the shoulders to soften. Start to kind of rock or sway your body front and back, or even side to side. And just noticing how everything feels here. Let yourself go. This is also an inversion since our hips are above our heart and head. So it is considered an inversion. We get the benefits of inversion practice just by hanging here. If you've been here for a little bit of time and you start to feel like, okay, I have some wiggle room, I can move a little deeper, start to maybe straighten through the legs. But remember, don't lose that connection of rib cage to the thighs. See if you can stay with that connection. Reach the elbows down. Stay strong and steady. Press the elbows down towards the feet. It doesn't have to come to a full straight legs, just where your body feels like it's enough stretch for the backs of your legs here. We're trying to reach into the hamstrings. Remember, you should always feel the stretch in the thick of the muscle, right? So not so much behind the knees or where the muscles connect to the hips, but you are going to feel this in your glutes clearly. So if you feel it in your glutes, that's okay. A couple more breaths. Keep the belly drawn in. Keep moving that rib cage towards the thighs. Keep working on straightening the legs and keep working on rolling the weight forward to the balls of your feet. Now, exhale. Let's go ahead and release the hands. Walk the fingertips forward, and as you inhale, lift the spine. You might need to use blocks here. You might be able to just come to your fingertips. And this is a forward fold, but at the same time, we're kind of lengthening here. So this one's actually Ardha Uttanasana, our halfway lift. The shoulders pull back, the belly keeps drawing in. So this engagement of the lower belly, kind of scooping out the lower belly, really, really important in these forward folds. It gives you room. If you let your belly go and release when you fold forward, you don't have room. If you pull in and engage, you have plenty of room here to fold forward. So we're going to hold here. Now this time, maybe the legs can straighten. Maybe you can contract your quadriceps. Maybe you need a block to bring your fingertips to the block and make yourself a little bit higher so that you can straighten your legs. Play around with different options here so that you can feel yourself move through this. And then let's start to rock a little bit forward and back. So what we're doing here is just adding a little bit of movement to the static posture. It's not something that's traditionally done, but I like to do it just because it makes me feel like, oh, okay, this is where my limits are and this is where I can go. So you might want to kind of pull back and keep your fingertips planted, keep your weight strongly on your feet, drawing in through belly, and then pull forward. See how that feels, bringing more weight to the fingertips, deeper stretch perhaps in the backs of the legs, but the heels stay down. And then again, back to center. Soften through your knees. Let your abdomen rest on top of your thighs again. Walk your hands forward a little bit more. Let your head hang here for a moment. So a little bit different than before. We're feeling the stretch in the shoulders, kind of like down puppy. And then look forward. Go ahead and walk your feet to the top of your mat. Toes and heels this time come together. Bend into your knees and slowly roll yourself up to standing. Keep the belly drawn in, kind of tuck under through your tailbone. Sacrum tucks under. Belly pulls in. Chest begins to lift. Rib cage begins to rise. Shoulders move back. Arms down by your sides. Come into a standing posture. This is our equal standing posture, Samastitihi. Feet are grounded. Arms down by your sides. Close your eyes for a moment. Sometimes when we close our eyes in standing, it's a little bit of a balance challenge. So if that's too much or too difficult for you to stay balanced with your eyes closed, you can leave them open or just a gentle gaze out towards the floor. Feel the lengthening of the legs, the pressing down through the soles of the feet, firm and strong, all four corners of each foot, grounding deeply into the floor. Keep drawing in through the belly as you lift up through the rib cage. A little bit of a tuck under through the tailbone so you're not arching back into a back bend. We're going to continue with the Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, arms coming up. Draw the palms towards each other. Look towards your thumbs as you extend through the fingertips. Press down firmly through the feet. Open up the chest. Lift the rib cage. Exhale, belly in. Hinge your hips back. Start to fold forward. Bring your hands to the floor on either sides of your feet and see if you can let your head relax, bringing your forehead towards your knees. Belly still pulled in tight. Inhale, lift halfway. You can come to your fingertips. This is our Ardha Uttanasana, our halfway lift. Roll the shoulders back and lengthen the body. Keep the weight forward to the balls of your feet and your toes. Now exhale, bend your knees slightly so that you can plant your hands on the floor. You want to have all of your palm down on the mat. Press into the arms like you're going to push into a handstand. So really kind of engage into the arms. Press fully there, and then let's go ahead and take one foot back, big step, and then again, press to the arms, engage the shoulders, other foot back. Here we are into our high plank, just like we did in the beginning of our practice. Engage into the core, strong shoulders. For the first one, we're gonna bring the knees down first, so the knees just come down behind you, release the toes. Keep protracting through shoulders, don't sink into the shoulders. And then from here, go ahead and chaturanga, so bend your elbows towards your rib cage and lower your chest to the floor ever so gently. Once your chest comes down, inhale, let's sway up to cobra. Separate your feet about hip width. Let the shoulders relax back. Use your back muscles here instead of your arms to lift you. Relax here into the jaw as you move the chest up. Exhale, slowly release. Tucking the toes under, we're gonna press back onto our knees. And then go ahead and press all the way back to your downward facing dog. So adjust your feet. I always need to walk them in ever so slightly. You can do obviously one at a time. Make sure that your hands are glued firmly and thoroughly through the mat, strong fingers, the belly's drawn in. Find your downward facing dog. I'm gonna hold this one here for just a little bit of time. If down dog is a challenging posture for you, then these holds in down dog will seem eternal. You'll be like, how in the world are you holding this long? So if that's the case and you need a little bit of a break, please come to balasana or bring your knees down, whatever you need to do. But if you've been coming to yoga for a while and you still find yourself struggling in downward facing dog, maybe it's time to kind of just see how, we're approaching this posture. For me, this posture has become almost like a resting posture. It's a way for me to kind of reconnect with breath and check in with the alignment of my body, check in with my bandhas as well. So hopefully you can start to look into it in a different perspective, a different light. And then inhale, let's look forward between the hands. Easy step or walk your feet forward. I like to walk the feet forward, but you can just step. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine, stay on the fingertips, belly drawn in. Exhale, fold again. See if you can bring your forehead towards your knees, deep fold. Inhale, rise up, arms come up, belly's drawn in, reach and stretch. Lengthen up towards sky, palms come together, lengthen. Exhale, hands to heart or arms down by your sides, back to Samastitihi. Okay, we're gonna do a second set. Inhale, arms up. Extend the body. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge from hips, come down, belly in, forehead towards knees. Inhale, lift halfway. Creating space, drawing into the breath. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, easy step back, engage into the shoulders, other leg, come to your high plank, engage your core, belly's in tight, hold it here. You can repeat knees down, chest down like we did in the first set, or you can go ahead and chaturanga with your legs straight. See if you can hover ever so slightly off the floor. Inhale, you can repeat cobra, or this time come into upward facing. If you're coming into upward facing, your feet are also about hip width apart. You're on the tops of your feet, so the toes are not tucked under. And you start to find that openness in the chest. I like to kind of move a little bit here, a little side to side motion. Gives me a little bit of freedom so that I can open the chest and let the hips sink down towards the floor. Let's keep the gaze forward for this one. And then exhale, roll over the toes, come to your downward facing dog. Steady breathing here. Go through that checklist of hands engaged, arms wrapping in towards the armpits, shoulder girdle engaged, shoulders moving away from the ears, head hanging, belly's drawn in, rib cage moving towards the thighs, tailbone and sits bones reaching up and back, drawing in through the pelvic floor, mula bandha engaged, quadriceps contracted, knees up, deep stretch in the hamstrings, heels pressed down towards the earth, stretching the calf muscles, feet are flat, equally distributed weight here between left and right side, between hands and feet. And inhale, looking forward between the hands. Easy step or walk your feet forward. Again, I like to tiptoe. It's a little bit of extra work. You can just walk. If you want to tiptoe, give it a try. Once your feet are up at the top of your mat, inhale, lengthen, come to the fingertips. So that gives you a little extra space to rise. Exhale, fold again. Deep fold, forehead towards the knees. Inhale, rising back up. Slow and steady with as much control as possible until your palms come together and you create a little bit more length. Exhale, hands to heart or arms down by your sides. Back to our Samasthiti. Let's hold here for a couple of breaths. Kind of just taking inventory of the body, acknowledging the muscles that have been working. Feeling the heat that starts to build and rise up as we move into our Surya Namaskara A series. And also we're going to be moving into B here in a moment. So now going into B, go ahead and bend your knees and we're going to sit the hips down towards the floor. I had a teacher that would say, reach your fingertips down. Well, let's try that today. I haven't done it this way in a while. So as you reach your fingertips down, make sure your hips aren't up and elevated, but down towards the floor. This is not our forward fold. This is a little bit different. It's a squat position. Press your knees and ankles towards each other and just leave your fingertips on the floor. If they don't quite touch the floor, that's okay too. You should start to feel the engagement in the thighs here. A lot of work happening. Now inhale, let's lift the chest, bring the hands to prayer, open the shoulders back. Try to keep the hips down and back. And you can stay here. Option B, extend the arms forward, reach the fingertips forward, belly's drawn in. Option C, keep the palms together and reach them up towards the sky. Opening the chest and reaching to the rib cage. Exhale, everybody come down again. Hands to the floor, and this time hips to the ceiling. Lengthen the spine. So we go back into our Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, go ahead and fold fully. Forehead towards the knees. Inhale. Let's go ahead and step your either foot, right foot or left foot back. Engaging into the core here as you find your high plank. And chaturanga, your choice, knees or not. Inhale, cobra or upward facing. Again, you get to choose which one resonated with you today. If you've done the first upward facing, maybe this one, open the chest and look up, or you can look towards the tip of your nose. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing. We don't hold this downward facing here, but we take the right foot, step it all the way forward between the hands. Pivot your back heel to the floor. Set yourself up here so that you feel balanced with your legs. Only when you're ready, inhale, let's come up and let's bring the hands to the heart. So we want to try to rotate the left hip forward, the right hip back, and then sit down into that right knee. So a lot of different things happening here. As we bring the hands to the heart, keep your gaze steady forward. Soften the shoulders, steady breathing. Strong, strong legs here. Keep the belly drawn in. Exhale, hands to the floor. Right foot steps back to our high plank. We go through another vinyasa, chaturanga, your choice. Inhale, cobra or upward facing. Again, your choice. Exhale, downward facing. Good. Now we do the left side. Take your left foot all the way forward between the hands. Big step. Plant your back heel on the floor. Gain your balance. Just fingertips on the mat. Sit down strong into that left leg. Inhale, lift the chest, come up. Hands in prayer. So again, right hip forward this time. Left hip moves back. Sitting strong into that left thigh. Hands in prayer. Lift your chest. Stay here. One breath. Inhale. And exhale. Go ahead. Hands down to the floor. Left foot steps back. Another vinyasa, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. This one we get to hold. So after all that, if you feel like you're kind of tired, that seemed like a lot of work for you, which it definitely is, take a break here. Come to balasana, rest. Otherwise, see if you can find that same resting, but in downward facing dog. See if you can connect with that sense of calm, peace, and equanimity that rises up when we release the rush or the need to fulfill any particular posture, shape, or whatever it is that we're looking to reach. Just find yourself here. No judgment. No need for analyzing. Just simply being. The gaze can be towards the bridge of the nose, but I move my gaze into the upper thighs. Feels right for my neck. Decide which one feels better for you. And then inhale, looking forward between the hands. Let's go ahead and walk or tiptoe our feet back to the top of our mats. Press into the arms strong. Keep the palms down if possible. Once you're at the top, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deep. Deep, deep, deep fold. Forehead towards your knees. Inhale, bend your knees, belly's drawn in. Bring your hands to prayer. Or remember your options. Arms can extend forward or arms can go up towards the sky. Exhale, rise up. Arms down by your sides. Take a couple breaths here. Beautiful work, you guys. We're going to do one more, then I promise we'll come to the floor. And the last part of our practice will be a little less intense. So here we go. Bending the knees, fingertips reach down towards the mat. Inhale, decide where you want your arms to be. Lengthen here wherever your choice is. Exhale, forward fold. Forehead towards knees. Round your spine here as you release. Down, roll the weight forward. Inhale, lengthen up through spine. Now we create space as we lengthen. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands. Easy step or walk your feet back to your high plank. When you're ready, chaturanga or knees down, chest down. Inhale, upward facing or cobra, opening heart, lifting chest. Gazing up or forward. Exhale, downward facing. Go ahead and take your right foot to the front. Plant it down between the hands. Pivot left heel down. Sit strong into your hips. Inhale, come up. This time, instead of keeping the hands in prayer, let's extend them up towards the sky. Reach up and stretch up through your fingertips as you bend into your right knee a little bit more. Keep your left foot flat onto the floor, pinky toe down. Exhale, hands to the floor. Right foot steps back. Chaturanga Dandasana, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. The left foot this time steps forward between the hands. Pivot back, heel to the floor. Inhale, come up. Find your strength in your legs, find your posture. And when you're ready, arms extend up. Gazing up towards thumbs, keep sitting down strong into your hips as you press your right foot down, pinky toe down. Exhale, hands to the floor. Left foot back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward. Exhale, downward. Good. holding here. Steadying your breath. See what rises up, what sensations move through your body as we hold our downward facing dog. Where do you need to connect? How's the mind? Can you observe all of these things without getting caught up in any of them? Observe the thoughts without getting caught up into the stories that the thoughts are creating. Observe the sensations of the body without getting caught up into any particular pull or sensation. Just simply observing, noticing, being with it. One more deep breath here. Again, gazing towards the upper thighs or in the direction of the navel. Good. And then inhale, looking forward between the hands. Tiptoe or walk or step your feet forward, back to the top of your mat. Toes and heels come together. Inhale, extend the spine, creating space. Exhale, fold deep. Inhale, bend your knees. Decide positioning for your arms. You get to choose here as you come out. And then exhale, arms down by your sides. Take a couple of breaths here. Relax the shoulders. You can shake it out. You can close your eyes. Let your arms hang down heavy. Steady breathing. And we're going to move into malasana position. So this is our garland pose. If you know you have issues with your hips and you do need a block, place the block on the floor so that you can measure out when you go to bring your hips down. The block is there for you to sit on. So you want your heels on the mat and your toes off the mat, so your feet are kind of out. Your knees are also pointing out in that direction, so outward rotation of the hips. Then we're gonna let the knees open out and track right over your toes. This is important. Bring the elbows to the knees, and let's just take a moment here. With the elbows on the knees, we allow ourselves to kind of maybe move one shoulder in, other shoulder in, and keep the belly drawn in. Keep yourself steady. Feet are nice and firm and strong. Let's do one more time. Each shoulder pulls in. Maybe hold one for a little bit longer. That feels good. And try the other side. Good. And then slowly come to center. Let's bring the hands to the floor and continue the descendants down towards the block. So again, you can take it nice and slow. You can move side to side, and then you can just let your butt rest on your block. That's what it's there for. Keep your legs moved in towards the body. So if your butt's on the block, but your feet are way out here, you're kind of defeating the purpose. Still working, still helping, but bring the feet in as close to your body as you can. So that way, you can really feel the opening in the inner thighs. We're going to use our elbows this time on the insides of the knees, and we're going to use the strength of the arms to press the elbows away as we bring the palms towards the chest. Lengthening up through the spine and creating space here. Just feeling yourself moving through this posture with as little struggle as possible. Clearly, if there's any pain in your body as you do this, definitely want to adjust. But if you feel okay, then stay here for a few breaths. No need to change or modify. If you're sitting on the block, hopefully this is pretty accessible. If you find this is too easy, all you have to do is remove that block, and now you found yourself in a little bit more of a working position. So wherever you are, make peace with your body, be with your breath, and don't fight. Try not to create unnecessary effort. Relax your jaw and tongue. Relax everything within the mouth and face can be calm and relaxed. And then exhale, let's go ahead and bring the hands to the floor. If the block is underneath you, might want to move it because we're going to roll to seated. So for a moment, just remove the block and start to roll yourself back. Your butt comes to the floor, and then you can release your legs. You might have fallen back there for a moment. That's okay. Just make your way back up to seated. Okay, so now we're going to continue here with the legs bent, and just roll your body forward. Tuck your chin towards your chest so you can rest your temples on your knees. Then hug your arms around inside your legs. Maybe hold on to your opposite elbows. Round the spine, nice and rounded. Keep pulling in through belly. Maybe you can even get your forehead to the tops of your thighs. Pull the shoulder blades down and away. Stretching through the neck. And then we're going to try to lengthen the spine here. So flatten out the back against, or flatten out the rib cage and the chest against your thighs. Keep holding on to your elbows here. And let's start to slide the legs down. So the forearms will come down first. Forearms will come down to the floor. Keep extending the legs forward and see if you can keep that connection of rib cage and thighs against the legs. Take a couple breaths here as you extend through the legs. Maybe try lift one leg up, lowering it down, other leg up. Keep the engagement here, so keep hugging yourself closer and closer to your legs, lowering it down, and then maybe try both legs up, really pressing into your forearms, really pulling back through your chest and shoulders. Let's hold 3, belly's drawn in tight. Even if you can't do both legs, do one leg at a time. 2, a little shaking is normal. If you're shaking, that's okay. And 1, exhale, lower the heels down. Let's release the arms from underneath the legs. Reach down, see if you can grab your feet. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. This time, let the back round. Let yourself completely surrender. Bring your forehead towards your shins or your knees. You do want to keep kind of drawing in through the belly here for a few more breaths. The stretch is happening in the backs of your legs, into your glutes, and all the way up your spine. And inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, walk the hands back in. We're going to lay all the way onto the back. Bring the knees into the chest as soon as you get there. And we'll get to kind of roll side to side for a moment here. Let's give the back a little bit of a massage. Okay, so as we move into the next one, we're going to work a little bit on core strengthening. It's kind of different to do it on our backs, but what we're going to try to do is cross our shins and then pull the knees in towards the body. So you're creating a kind of like a closed circuit here with the legs. So keep the legs pulled in. For the first one, let's hold on to the ankles and kind of hug everything in. So this is the sensation you want to recreate when we no longer use the arms. So those feet and the legs pull in. The knees are going to open about as wide as your shoulders. So just kind of keep here for a few breaths. And then when you're ready, if you're ready, you're going to release the legs, but keep the tuck in and extend the arms forward so that your palms are pressing up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your body here. Hold 1. Squeeze your body. Keep the palms pressing up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your lower belly. 2. Almost there. Keep the shoulders engaged like you're trying to push the ceiling away. 3. Ooh, this core should be feeling it right about now. If you start to cramp up, just take a little softness and come back into it. 4. And squeeze, 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 squeeze. Maybe the shoulders come off the floor. And 5. Release. Let the legs come down. We're going to go into a little simple bridge here before we do it one more time. Arms down by your sides, maybe fingertips touching the backs of your heels. Your feet are about hip width apart. And then inhale, lift the hips up. Wiggle the shoulders under. Maybe interlace your hands or fingers. And straighten your arms. See if you can go a little bit higher. Allowing your hips to really rise up. And the weight here is strongly in the legs, but some weight in the shoulders. As you feel that transfer of weight to move too much to the shoulders, just re-engage the legs, squeeze to the glutes. And exhale, lower down. Release the arms, come back to flat back. Okay, so we're going to repeat that same one before. Whichever way you crossed your feet before, cross the other way. So now the other foot is on top. And again, we'll start by grabbing onto the ankles and tucking everything in. You really want to create a nice tuck-in position. And then from here, steady your breathing. Keep that tuck-in position. So keep the engagement of the lower belly. Sometimes pointing the toes helps, but then you might cramp up to your toes. So you decide if you want to point or if you want to keep your toes relaxed. And when you're ready, inhale, palms up, and you're reaching the arms up. Try to get your knees underneath the level of your elbows. So really squeeze. 1. Keep the head on the floor so your head and neck are relaxed, but you're using your shoulders, your core, your torso, your arms, everything else is working. 2. Calm, steady breath. Keep working, keep squeezing the whole time you're squeezing. There's not a moment of relaxation here. 3. Pressing up, knees into the body. Strong shoulders. 4. It's like you're trying to push the ceiling away. Almost there. Keep the knees hugged in. Keep the feet down. And 5. Exhale, let it go. Good job. Bring the feet to the floor. The second of our bridge poses we're going to do with a support. So grab your block. And then you can decide if you want your block at the flattest level, at the middle, or at the highest level. So I'll demonstrate all 3 so you guys can see. Flat level, you would just place the block under your sacrum, and then you can just kind of let your body relax here. This is probably the most gentle version of this supported bridge. Staying here and breathing feels really good. It gives you a chance to kind of relax the muscles. If you want to go a little higher, just press into the feet, lift the hips, and slide the block at its middle level or mid-level. Still, the block is placed at the sacrum, so you don't want the block down by the glutes and you don't want it up by your waist. And then again, you can relax the arms and steady the breath here. Still feels pretty good, maybe a little bit more stretch for you. Your last option is to come to the tips of your toes so that you can elevate your hips even higher and change the block to its highest position, also placing it underneath the sacrum. Nice and flat, make sure the block is not on its kind of tilting a little bit. And then once your block is in place, you can release your feet down and you can release your arms down. So this is the highest level for the block and might be a little bit too intense. If you want to try it, give it a try. And if you feel like it's too much, just go back down to one that you can maintain. Not much work is happening here with the legs, but the feet are planted down below the knees. And you're feeling that opening here, a little bit into the hip flexors, into the psoas. Lastly, if you wish, you can extend your arms up overhead. And kind of wriggle your shoulders under and really settle in. We're going to be here for a few breaths. So just find a place that you can feel the work happening without the effort of the body to maintain the posture. Use your prop, use your block, your yoga block to hold you. Trust that it'll hold you. You can close your eyes and settle in. Slowly as we exhale, let's go ahead and lower the elbows down. So like your arms are making this cactus position. Keep the elbows and the backs of the hands, the backs of the forearms down on the floor, connected and rooted. Nothing really going on with the legs again. Maybe a little bit of engagement there, but you're letting the posture work itself out using gravity and using the support of your prop. Steady breathing. A little bit of weight is being placed here into the shoulders. That's good. If you feel like it's moving into the neck too much, you can try to lift the chin up a little bit, and that should soften any strain in the neck. But sometimes that stretch feels good. So sometimes actually moving the chin towards the chest will give you a little better sensation in the neck. Play around with both options and see which one fits your body today. And so I'm going to give you the option to remain in this elevated position here at the highest, mid, or lowest level. And if you'd like, go ahead and lower your arms down by your sides. It's going to create support here as you bring your legs up. So if you're at the highest level of the block, this is going to feel a little unstable. So be gentle. Keep your body centered and your weight right in the middle. If you're at the middle or lower level, then you should not feel unstable. You should probably feel pretty good there. And then with the inhale breath, go ahead and lengthen the legs up and find yourself in this lifted position. Point your toes. This is like our legs up the wall. Clearly with the block at the highest level, it creates a little bit more of a back bending or a hollow back shape with the body. If you feel nervous that you're gonna fall out, you can hold on to the block, kind of just bring your hands underneath, and that way you're feeling secure there. But honestly, if you find yourself unstable here, see if you can draw in a little bit more through the navel, kind of lift up a little bit more through the rib cage and ground your shoulders down. Point your toes and engage into your legs. This will help you feel the stability of the posture without worrying about your prop. Steady the breath here. 1, 2, 3. Calm, easy breathing. You close your eyes. Really settle in to the inner experience, inner awareness. 4. And 5. Go ahead and start to lower the feet down towards the floor. Again, if you do feel unstable at the highest position, use your hands to hold onto the block. Honestly, it's usually not a problem as long as you move steadily, slowly, and with control. Once the feet are kind of hanging down, just take a couple of more breaths here. And then exhale, start to lower the feet towards the floor. Now here you're using a lot of hip flexor mobility and strength. So if it's too much, do one leg at a time. If it feels okay, engage into your core and start to lower very, very, very slowly until the tips of the toes touch, and then you can relax the feet down. So we're gonna take a couple more breaths here. We're gonna inhale and exhale as we kind of readjust and surrender to the position that we found ourselves last in. Steadying the breath. Good. And then if you're at the highest level, then you're gonna go ahead and tuck your toes under slightly, lift up, and then everybody come down to the lowest. So the block is at the lowest level, the sacrum comes down, and maybe you make room for your shoulders here now that there's a little bit more room back there. And then go ahead and extend one leg, extend the other leg, arms up overhead, find reach, find stretch, a lot of different things moving through here. Make sure your shoulders stay down on the floor. And you extend your whole body here, full body stretch. With the block underneath the sacrum, you can feel a little bit of a lift through that pelvic area, stretching and helping you access a little deeper into your hip flexors and into your psoas. And then slowly go ahead and release the arms. Let's release the legs, plant the feet back on the floor. Lift the hips, remove the block. Let the hips come all the way down. And I love the feeling after we've been up there so long, how it feels to sit grounded back to the earth with the hips. So bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a nice hug, roll around side to side. If there's anything else that your body feels it needs at this time, this could be a shoulder stand, it could be halasana, it could be a twist, maybe happy baby, or maybe a combination of any of those or none of those. But whatever you feel your body needs here, this is a good time to do it. I feel pretty good. I don't feel like my body needs anything else. So I'm just gonna sit here and sway side to side. If you are doing a twist or a rotation, make sure you go in both directions. Don't skip any sides. Always want to keep your sides equal, balanced. And as you're ready, if you're finished there with whatever posture you're wrapped your practice up with, let's go ahead and make our way to Shavasana. Legs extend, arms down by your sides, palms facing up. Feel the connectedness of the earth underneath you, supporting you, lifting you, holding you. Allow a deep sense of gratitude to bloom within your heart. Thank you, body. And let the breath be steady. Slowly and gently, we'll draw awareness back to the breath, to this physical form, to this time, this space. And we'll start to add a little bit of movement to the fingers and the toes, the hands, the feet, the wrists, the ankles, the knees and the elbows. Bend and come to a constructive resting posture here by separating your separating your feet, but bringing your knees together. Hands can rest on your torso. As you breathe, you feel the belly rise and belly fall. Keep your eyes closed, your attention focused inward. And exhale, we're gonna roll over onto our side for a few breaths. Just take a few moments here on your side. You can use your bottom arm as a pillow. And inhale, let's press up, coming to a seated position. And we'll seal our benefits of our practice today in our comfortable seated posture, kind of concluding our practice in the same way as we started. Palms together at the center of the heart. Allow the sensations of the body to run through, giving you clues, ideas, listening to whatever rises up. And as we exhale, we'll prepare for Om. Namaste.